Hi everyone, this is Dr. Samantha Sweeney and this is Just for Fun Friday, your weekly dose of how to infuse diversity into your life and the life of your kids. So this week's item is for those kids, those parents of kids who just are super active, who like to do lots of things, who like action. My son is definitely like this. He is always like jumping and creating and his toys are doing all sorts of stuff. It's really, really cool. And this item is really for those kids. So this item, this week's item is action figures, but not just any old action figures. They're historical action figures. So they're people in history. But these aren't, the typical history figures that we usually learn about. There's no Paul Revere. There's no, Benjamin Franklin. There's none of the presidents. These are some of the unsung heroes of history. So the different ones that they have on their site are Bessie Coleman, Benjamin Banneker, who actually has a high school named after him here in DC, and Matthew Alexander Henson, who I had actually never heard of. And along with the actual action figures themselves comes a teaching guide, and those teaching guide is for ages like 7 to 12, and that sounds about right to me. They're pretty comprehensive, but really, I mean, these are action figures, so these are for any kid who doesn't stick everything in their mouth anymore. So for kids like, maybe 4 or 5 or so, I think that's when my son started playing with action figures around age 4. So any kid who's, 4 or 5 years old and can play with action figures, they can play with these. And then as they get older, you can introduce them to the teaching guide. And, when they turn 7, 8, and they're interested in history, then you can talk more about that stuff. So how does this relate to diversity? So Bessie Coleman, she was a female aviator. So the idea of gender. Benjamin Banneker, he was a Black mathematician, surveyor, astronomer, and according to this website, he was also a genius. And then, Henson was a Black Arctic explorer, which is just, I mean, how cool is that? I don't know too many Arctic explorers at all, and certainly not, any Black Arctic explorers. So I thought that that was really cool. So on Just for Fun Fridays, we rate all of our items from a 0 to a 5, and this is a 4. It touches upon, race, and it touches upon gender, but, I gave it a 4 because it's really just so unique. You're learning so much stuff about people that you normally wouldn't be learning about. And also because I think that it sparks a lot of additional conversation. It sparks conversation about, why don't we normally learn about these people? Are there other types of people? Are there Muslim people that we haven't learned about? Are there Jewish people that we're not learning about? What other positions do women hold that we haven't learned about in our history class? And I think just, the fact that you're able to connect it to so many things that are already going on in their lives, they have history class presumably, and, they're learning about these different things. So being able to spark that conversation and fuse it into their everyday lives is really why this item was a 4. So that's it for this week's Just for Fun Friday. Be sure to check out the website, www.culturallycompetentkids.com, to get a link to these actual action figures and to the bio. The action figures themselves are a little bit expensive, but the bio is free. I mean, the bio and the teaching guide are free, so you can just access that at any time. You also have there a printout that you can access that has all the different things that we talked about. So the different age range, the different diversity themes, some questions and comments, and some games you can play with your kids in addition to the guide, and then also ways to continue the conversation. Because remember, even though it's important to have fun with diversity, it's also important to have those harder conversations and to keep it going. So I hope you really enjoy this and you have fun creating some like cool action figure stuff with your kids. And I'll see you next week for another Just for Fun Friday. Thanks for joining us for another Just for Fun Friday. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it inspired you to go out there this weekend and have even more fun with your kids. I've created something that I'm really excited to share with you and I think you're really going to love. I've compiled this amazing book list of all different diverse books. It has different characters, different storylines, and I think you're really going to love it. It's for kids of all ages, from babies, yes, babies, all the way up to young adults. So in order to get it, go to www.culturallycompetentkids.com. Sign up for the newsletter and it'll be sent straight to you right away, right to your inbox. You can use it for all sorts of things. You can use it for learning time, you can use it for literacy time, or just fun snuggle time with your kids. So sign up, enjoy it, and I'll see you next week for another Just for Fun Friday.